from Jalen Milroe's burner. They just say, Millie for Heisman. And obviously, Jalen Milroe's burner is referring to Jalen Milroe winning the Heisman Trophy in 2024. Now, it's fitting that this is a question we're talking about right now, or a take we're talking about right now, because the On3 main Twitter account just put out a graphic for the Heisman Trophy odds according to FanDuel heading into 2024. Now, Jalen Milroe was given the fourth best odds at plus 1,400. So if you think this is going to happen, you put some money down, you make a lot of it if he does win the Heisman Trophy. I'll be transparent. I love this. I love this take. And if you've watched this show for any length of time, you know I haven't always felt this way about Jalen Milroe. The turnover issues a year ago, 2 years ago, I guess at this point now, made me a little bit concerned. His consistency throwing the football in the intermediate game made me a little bit concerned. But when he gets plugged into that Kalen DeBoer offense and they have the whole scheme installed around him and everything is built to his skill set, he is going to cook. Like, I'm glad we got this take because I was trying to figure out a segment to make this point anyway. Jalen Milroe is going to do crazy numbers in 2024. I promise you. Because the way that this thing is going to work, I didn't see it at first, but I see it now. They're going to play to his skill set. And the way that it looked at first when Kalen DeBoer got hired is like, hey, Michael Penix Jr. and Jake Haener, quarterbacks that have had success under Kalen DeBoer and playing in Kalen DeBoer's scheme, they're throwing quarterbacks. They throw the football first. Kalen DeBoer has thrown the ball over the last 4 years right around 40 times a game on average. Jalen Milroe in Alabama last year threw the ball right around 23 times a game. So how is this going to fit in a pass-happy, air quotes there for those of y'all on podcast, how is it going to fit in a pass-happy offense? Kalen DeBoer hasn't gotten where he is by not playing to his personnel. Does he have a certain direction he wants to go with it? Sure, but if we think that Kalen DeBoer is just going to excuse Jalen Milroe's legs and say, that's nice you have that, use it when you can, we're kidding ourselves. We're absolutely kidding ourselves if we think that's going to be the reality. And we sat down with Kalen DeBoer in Tuscaloosa, looked him face to face, microphone in our hand, microphone in his hand, and asked him, how are you going to utilize Jalen Milroe's legs? He didn't get specific, obviously, but he told us enough to make us feel like, hey, we're going to make sure that we utilize the best athletes on the field's abilities. That's going to be a reality. That's something they do, and it's going to be nasty. The reason why I think it's going to be nasty is because I think they're going to play to his strengths as a runner while giving him more help than he's ever had before as a passer. What I mean by that is when you break down Kalen DeBoer's offense from a broad strokes perspective, they do a lot of things pre-snap with motions and shifts to kind of get the defense off balance. In addition to that, they use spacing really, really effectively. Not the same as Josh Heupel or Jeff Lebby, but kind of in a similar thought process as we're going to make you cover the entire width of the field. And so all these things pre-snap and spacing are going to play to Jalen Milroe's skill set and allow him to have just easy access throws. I'm not saying they're going to be easy throws all the time, but I mean, we're not going to ask Jalen Milroe to be Tom Brady here, okay? We're not asking him to fit it in a window or be able to read the defense like Peyton Manning. Like, of course, it's going to require some processing from him, which he is more than capable of doing, but it's not going to be like an AP level offense to that degree. It's going to be, here's the system we have in place. We're going to set you up for success in the matchups we create and the spacing we create. Make the right throw, go to the right place with the football. So that's the first. Also, we got to mention this too. There's now helmet communication. I don't know exactly who's going to be on the headset, but I think that has to help Jalen Milroe as he gets his feet underneath him in this new offense. But the spacing is what I want to go back to when we talk about his legs. Because whenever you space out the offense, what it does to a defense is it makes the defense thin. What I mean by thin is typically there is usually not more than one guy per an assignment. So if that one individual doesn't accomplish their assignment correctly defensively, what does it leave behind them? Whole lot of green grass. And so if Jalen Milroe is able to, whether on design quarterback runs or on ad-lib quarterback runs, be able to make one man miss or one man's out of position or one man is covering a receiver and Jalen Milroe tucks it and runs, he doesn't see it, it's going to be a lot like that LSU game we saw where Jalen Milroe puts up video game numbers and we're talking about him in the Heisman Trophy conversation. So when we talk about the Heisman Trophy now, let's not dismiss the fact that I think that conversation changes drastically as well. Because when we look at Jalen Milroe and the way that this offense is going to operate, he's going to put up points, he's going to put up numbers, but people talk about this a lot with the Heisman Trophy. It's a team award. You hear that a lot. It's a team award. Well, right now in college football, the field for the college football playoff is widening. And so the way that we view Jayden Daniels last year, what was the thing you were hearing a lot of for why he shouldn't win the Heisman Trophy? Well, his team's 9-3. Well, his team has multiple losses. Well, they're not in the national title hunt. That's what you heard last year. I think this year the conversation would change to Jayden Daniels is carrying his team on his back to the doorstep of a national college football playoff berth. That would be the conversation you would have this year. So as we widen the field for the college football playoff and for these teams, I think we also subconsciously are going to widen the playoff or widen the field rather for Heisman Trophy finalists. And I'm not saying Alabama's going to win the national championship. I'm not saying they're not going to win the national championship. But I think when you talk about what will be required from an individual perspective to win the Heisman Trophy, it's not going to be, I don't think, quite as exclusive as maybe it was previously. And I honestly think that's going to bode well for the Heisman Trophy race this year. I think it'll be a lot wider than it's been in the past. I think it'll be a lot more players that deserve to be in that conversation that weren't on college football playoff teams or were on multiple loss teams that are going to get a lot more shine this year and a lot more consideration because more teams will be in the race. So bottom line, Jalen Milroe is going to be a dog. I can't wait to watch him in 2024. I think he's going to do crazy numbers. I think the offense, as much as it seems like it may not be a perfect fit, I think they're going to play to his skill set. It'll be a very, very beautiful picture. Hey, y'all. Thanks so much for watching. Subscribe to the channel here to make sure you don't miss an episode of The Hard Count. Also, be sure to check out other videos on the On3 YouTube channel.